Man, they just all clicked, and it was magic. It was magic.
Actually, let me ask you a question about that. Can you tell us a little bit about, so like you said, the top 5 people on the cast list there were coming in from outside. Everybody else was local. All the rest of the cast, all the rest of the crew were all local. I had the good fortune to talk to them, a few of them, about their experience coming in. Can you tell us a little bit about what they related to you as far as coming into Columbus, Ohio? You know, they've been parts of huge television productions, huge film productions, and how they found the cast and the crew of the locals here compared to where else they worked.
Yeah, it was really it was incredible because we didn't hear back directly from the actors, and you know, it maybe understandably, in the moment as we're doing this thing and we're going through the production and everybody's here and we're all working, there's not kind of the right time or place, and you know, to keep things moving and staying in character, they're not going to say these things to the director or the producers of the movie. But it was great that as we were wrapping up production, from all of their managers and agents, we were getting word back through our casting director that this was the best experience they've ever had on an independent film, and it's all because of the local crew, the local cast. They said this is the most professional set that they've ever been on, and they were so glad that they took the chance to come to Columbus, Ohio, that is not typically known as a yet.
Soon to be.
But that was so rewarding to hear, because it solidifies what we all know as far as the people who are in the production community, that like quality filmmaking can be done here. All of the department heads, all of the crew, all of that supporting cast, just it's all here. It's ready. We're just we need to be seen on a bigger stage.
To see them come in with, and not vocally low expectations, but to see those expectations exceeded once they finished, it was just a gift that you can't put enough emphasis on. It was just cool, just great, yeah.
I think one thing that we've talked about quite a bit is that you know, possibly the idea was coming into you know, not a professional or not experienced crew or cast in Columbus, but everybody that works on this, they're traveling every weekend. They're traveling every other, you know, all the time, going to Pittsburgh, going to Atlanta, going to New York. It is a incredibly professional, incredibly well-versed crew, cast. They just all happen to live in Columbus, Ohio, and you gave them an opportunity to get to go to work without having to travel hours and hours away. So we appreciate that. I appreciate the casting.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things we always talked about on set a lot was like we all get to sleep in our own beds, right? Which is great, and that all. A lot of that stemmed from, I was fortunate being an actor as well, that I got the chance to be on some larger productions in some different cities, and every time I would go to one of these productions, they'd be like, oh, you're from Columbus, and you're from Columbus, and you're from Columbus. Like, why are we not working here in Columbus? And so you're right, like that level of talent, and when I say that level of talent, not just for acting, that level of talent for the crew has been here for years. So it's about time that we all fucking start getting recognized for it, right? Yeah.
You have to forgive me. Currently, if you're on my right side, I have no idea what's happening over there. So if
detached retina, and he still shows up.
I got you. I can actually stop wearing this. I've just heard it's very fetching.
It's very cool, man. It's very cool.
I'm sorry. Yes. So please do something extra big to get my attention. Does anybody have any questions?
What was the genesis of the story, and how did it expand and change over time?
The genesis of the story was Todd Covert and I had Todd. Stand up.
Stand up, Toddy. Right there. Also one of our
Lewis. Yeah, we played Martin and Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy I was sitting next to didn't even recognize me. came up with just this treatment of the story. It was very, very basic, and I mean, very, very basic.
It's called 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
It's
yeah.
called 2 minutes.
It's hanging, and we give it as a gift to Dino.
It's on the down to the felt wall.
Yes.
House, yeah.
So during COVID, we all wanted to write something together. I was out of work because there was no theater. So I took it to Jon, and I said, "Do you think Dino would want to do this?" And Jon was like, "Yeah, this looks interesting." We called him from the bar and said, "Hey, Dino, what does this sound like?" And he said, "That sounds fantastic. Let's do it." And you look at that little acorn, and then you look at this, and the amount that it has grown into this huge, beautiful oak tree is absolutely phenomenal. And it could not have been done without everyone in the production, everyone. God love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And I want to add that probably, you know, and he's right, we started this at the height of COVID when we had nothing to do. Just personally, this trio sitting on my porch in my house, or back in the backyard in the bar I call the pond, working with these three guys and creating this script. And there's script writers out here, Bill Farmer's out here, he knows the 35, the 40th draft, or whatever the case might be. But to do that with these guys, that saved me during COVID. And to see it come to fruition like this, I mean, that's the win for me, you know, working with these three guys and creating it and doing it. So if you asked about the genesis of it, not only the genesis of it, but the birth of it, and the baby is fully dressed and showing tonight, so thank you.
Yeah, graduated from high school.
Yeah, it did. So yeah, that process is probably the best for me.
Yes, I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Right back at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question for each of you gentlemen. As writers, and then Jon, I noticed you in the frame, obviously in the picture, right? So that was your cameo. Ralph, you're playing such a small part. Dino, you had just your little cameo in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So as actors, and then with your radio experience of decades, and from my own personal perspective, I know is to sit back and watch ourselves. So very unselfish of all of you as actors to give these parts, you know, to all of our individuals. So how difficult was that for you to watch these other actors, you know, from an actor's perspective as opposed to a writer's perspective?
Oh my Lord, it wasn't difficult at all. It
Not
was
at all.
fantastic watching them bring it to life, and
You can't
eventually they know the characters better than we do. So that was magic.
Thank you for doing
watching
the heavy
that.
lifting. Seriously.
But yeah, to take these small roles, which was beautiful on these days when we did do it, he was very adamant with, "Ralph, you're not a goddamn producer today. Don't do anything. You're a fucking actor, so just act." So it was always nice to take a step back from the producing standpoint and to be able to get into another person's
He
shoes.
didn't say that to me.
You shot on the first day.
Yeah, it's really easy to, like Ralph said, because of the level of professionalism and talent that came into the movie with us, with everybody in all the different roles. It was, these people owned their characters, and so I mean, I did that because I was available. I think probably that's why. But it was a no-brainer when we were thinking about who we were going to cast, because we've known the talent on the cast side in this town for years.
Yeah, we did the local casting. We brought I knew a lot of theater people and a lot of people from my acting class and brought that in for these guys to see, and we chose from the pool of these incredible actors that we have in this city. Yes, yeah, give yourself a round of applause for God's sake. So that was pretty easy. Yeah.
Actually, let me ask you, because I been very fortunate to this is my second time seeing the film, was able to read the script, loved every opportunity that I had to revisit the story, but this time I really, was able to enjoy and like really take in the story and and found so many little nuances. I mean, like I can spend the next 5 hours sitting here asking you guys about specific little things like that I missed the first time around. It's just so well written. A couple things that really stuck with me this time was the noticing of the 1008 on the oven.
Oh, sweet, yes.
Even though I have seen the film already, as it turned to 10:09 after he got up, I got very nervous. I was like, well, shoot, what? Because he's only right twice a day at 10:08, and now like it built like this anticipation of, oh, he's heading out, but it's not his moment. It's not his time. I thought that was just an excellent little touch that was in there, and
I'm laughing because when we shot that scene, we're in this kitchen and we had to reset the clock every single time. So we would try to get as many of those takes. Anthony Cavaspati, our director of photography, is in there.
Yeah, give him a big round of applause. If you like the way that film looked,
It's all Anthony. But we lucked out on that one because we just happened to be, that was the take that was the best, and it happened to turn that way. So don't tell anybody else.
yeah, inside scoop.
well, no, that's perfect. It plays right into fate and choice. It was fated that was the choice. That was
We all talk about the movie gods, right?
yeah.
And we had so many moments where the movie gods just shined upon this production, and that was absolutely one of them.
The other part that really stuck with me this time, or like really hit home with me this time, was how our they're almost. At first, I was seeing our hitman as the antagonist of the story. Really kind of the first time I was viewing it, but now I was realizing that he's a co-protagonist. They both have their journeys, but that opposite trajectory really stuck out to me this time, where the more Paul wants it, the less he was able to perform. He wasn't doing very well when he just desperately wanted it, but when he was able to let it go, then it kind of took off for him. But then conversely, the hitman his heart wasn't in it at first, but then as he desperately started to want this more and more and more, he started missing shots, he started getting his ass beat, he started having all of these problems, these complications with his performance, and I love that opposite trajectory. Can you talk a little bit about kind of how this whole story, like how those specific elements kind of?
Well, we definitely didn't want, you see in a lot of movies, you see like the villain is just kind of one-dimensional and just, he's the bad guy and that's it. We didn't want that to be the case with Michael Weston, the hitman, David. We wanted you to see that he was going through the same, maybe not the same, but a parallel issues, if you will, with and to fully develop him and find out a little bit about his backstory when he's sitting with the rabbi, and find out how he got to where he got. And remember, where he's at is not where he wants to be, and where Paul's at is not necessarily where he wants to be. So these two guys are kind of going parallel, if you will, on different paths, but yet the same in what they want to do. So it was important that we develop both of those leads to have an important backstory that you could identify with and empathize with a little bit. We've done a lot of these screenings over the course of the festivals, and a lot of people actually are bummed out that the hitman's dead. Because that was one that a lot of people, that was some of their favorite characters, and it's a credit to Michael Weston. He did an amazing job, but a lot of people just get like, oh man, so he's not coming back. you know, and when they talk about a sequel, which we haven't talked about, but yeah, that's, I hope that kind of answers your question.
It was fun to map out those arcs as we
Yeah.
sat those, you know, we spent, and maybe this goes back to your question, we spent a lot of time on the script. You know, we spent years, a couple of years on the script, refining it, and it was fun to map out those arcs that would eventually cross, while one trajectory is going up and the other one's going down, or, yeah, that was a lot of fun to figure that out.
Those two examples kind of really stuck out, especially now that I know that it was a bit of a film god's fluke of the turning from 1008 to 1009. That one, you know, this one element you've spent years mapping it out very intricately, and then this other element is just the you know,
Universe supporting you.
yeah, the universe supporting you in the moment, you know, on the day, and they're both, you know, they serve the film so incredibly well, and it's so special. Do we have any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, and you actually just joked about a sequel, and I was wondering, that last scene, was that always part of the script, or did you say at the end, hey, let's
No, it was not. That came, and this goes to what Ralph was saying earlier about, you know, as writers and as a director, when you have actors come in, and you really do hope that they take on those characters better than you even could imagine them. Those two actors came up with that scene.
Yeah.
And they pitched a couple of different versions of it. And then we went back and the three of us reworked it a little bit. But that was the actor's idea. And it was, I think it's just a beautiful little way to wrap up the movie.
Yeah.
And so all credit to Michael Stahl-David and Scotty Thompson for that little scene right there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is more of a comment than a question, and I don't know who is going to date more, me or John. But as John's high school teacher,
You.
I saw,
It dates you.
I saw this in him years ago, and he has brought me to tears, being proud of what I've seen, him having a dream and bringing this team together.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, from a writing standpoint, a pleasure to write with these three, but I have for years, I can speak to that. These two guys, I've watched them in numerous theater productions. I've seen them in films. I've seen Johnny on TV shows and in films. Aside from the talents they presented as producers and writers, and I'm Johnny obviously as director, these two sons of bitches are the best actors that I know and have a pleasure to work with every day and take advice from every day on a regular basis.
Every time I would cast a show, the males would say, "Oh, John's gonna get it."
John's gonna get it, yeah. Ralph Scott's up for it? No, I'm just not gonna go. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it would happen, because I would go into an audition room and Ralph would be there like, oh, fuck, I'm not.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Yeah. Aside from the ability to work with people and produce and to write, these two guys, I think, are just sensational actors. So I'm glad you made a comment and not a question, because they deserve all of that.
Here, I'll just say this. This is why teachers are so important.
Yeah.
And this is why arts in the schools is so important. Because without having that foundation and being fostered to follow something that you feel within you is like the thing that you might be able to do, you know, these kinds of things don't happen. And so it actually starts there.
Oh, right in the back.
Hi. So first of all, I have to give you guys credit. In this day of filmmaking and everything, it's very commonplace to have a lot of explanation and exposition to establish a lot of things. You guys made a movie that just starts and just goes. So first of all, kudos to you guys for that. That is fantastic. Now, I do have to ask, and it may be very silly. I know you guys have sponsorships and everything, but I'm a longtime connoisseur of those White Castle.
All right.
And I know for a fact that those bad boys come in packs of 2, not in 1.
Well, I had a bag. I had a bag.
My personal interpretation, I guess.
I love when people pick out minutia like that.
Please throw that up on IMDb for like trivia or something. That'd be great.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, who can eat one? Nobody eats one.
Right.
Nobody eats one.
My interpretation personally of it is that he eats one before a kill, one after a kill.
Brother, you fill in the blanks any way that makes you happy.
We were very lucky to also to get White Castle. My stepsister, her husband is in the White Castle family, and that is how we got them as a sponsor.
It is, but I will also say we wrote it that way to begin with.
We did.
Yeah, we did. We just
One of the things that we always set out with intention with this script and the story was to make it Columbus. And dude, White Castle is
White Castle is
Columbus.
Columbus.
White Castle. White Castle is Columbus. So those references, and we put Watershed in early, before we had Watershed buy into it, because we love Watershed.
Yeah,
and
we
loved
love-
White
we love the
Castle.
things you do.
So it was, again, I think it was those movie guide things, and please put that up on IMDb. I really appreciate it.
Bram, I'll let you decide who gets to talk.
Well,
There's a lot of hands up.
Start on the right, otherwise I'll
This
forget
is
the
a
trick.
softball question. This is a softball question, but while we're talking about sponsorship, why is there no down to the felt commemorative glass?
Not in the budget.
Indie film.
But trust me, if Eric
Indie
Rembeck
film.
would have had enough time to put something
He probably
together
would
like
have.
that, he probably
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah.
Another shout out to Studio 35, who's doing everything he can to help us. Yeah. If there could have been time for that, we would have had a down in the middle glass.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys had a lot of ups and downs making this. Would you do it again?
Hell yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
We're
What time is it?
We're gonna do it again. Everybody keeps asking what we're doing next. I won't say what we're doing next, but I say that we are doing something next, and I can honestly say that I'll tell you that the baby is out of the womb, and we just have to raise it and dress it and educate it.
Gotta go through elementary school, middle school, high school.
But the next thing is out there and living and breathing, and we're gonna work on it. Yeah, we're there.
That was going to be one of my questions, was what is next for each of you. But instead, can you tell me, is there anything on the horizon for Down to the Felt?
Oh, yeah. So we will know very shortly our specific dates, but we are launching on Apple TV for purchase very soon. So thank you all for coming. Now buy the movie. We're going to hit pre-sales probably around the end of September, the beginning of October. It'll launch on Apple and all the other streaming platforms, or all the other purchase platforms, I should say. So it'll be out for purchase first. But another big way that Columbus can come out and all of you can support this and show that like Columbus is a legitimate place is by either buying it in pre-sale or buying the VOD, because it makes a big statement. The more pre-sales, the more VOD purchases we can get, and it's not a lot of numbers that we have to hit, surprisingly, to get on Apple's radar and then to be put into their algorithm and for people to start taking notice and finally see that like Columbus is a legitimate place to make film. So that's a long answer, but yeah.
That's great. Actually, another question: how else can folks get involved with the effort to bring more films to Columbus? How else can folks get involved with following along with Down to the Felt? Get involved with you guys keeping an eye out for what is. That wasn't a pun. I didn't mean to. Keeping an eye out for what is whatever the baby that's coming next. Where's the best ways for people to learn about that as soon as they can?
So we are at Down to the Felt Movie. So everybody go on and then follow us on whatever it is that you're finding us. We're Facebook and Instagram at Down to the Felt Movie. What was the other thing you said?
I asked lots of things. I don't know. I've forgotten. But any potential future projects, I'm sure people will be able to find out.
Yeah. Oh,
through-
and what
for
you should do for like Columbus, just as far as film in general, there is an Ohio tax credit. There's also a Franklin County tax credit for film production. But the more that you can talk to, or just be a voice to your legislators about why film is important. Film is this really unique thing that happens in wherever productions pop up, that it hits so many different business sectors from a production standpoint of injecting money into the local economy wherever a film is being produced, whether that's hotels, whether that's transportation, vendors, catering, everything. And the local cast and crew that are employed. So it really is important to keep on our state legislators to emphasize how important that is to keep that tax credit and actually make it better. So we're working on some things to also propose to those legislators. So if you ever see anything, I know it's sometimes a drag to like, all right, I gotta send an email, but we're gonna try to figure out an easy way for everybody to do that.
Yeah.
But that's really important.
And also just pay attention to your local websites, Film Columbus, Cinema Columbus, there's so many great Ohio Film. There's so many great websites to check out that keep you updated on what a lot of filmmakers are doing as we speak. There are probably a dozen or more people out there filming a short as we speak, or working on a feature script as we speak, and trying to get the money raised and so forth and so on to do it. So, do your due diligence and look up, just look up film in Columbus, and a bunch of websites will pop up, and you can check them out and stay supportive and support the people who are doing the same work that we did. I mean, we started from ground zero. I mean, we started from ground zero.
And really, you're already doing it because you're here.
You're here.
Yeah.
That's part of
So
the
just bring more people.
And also follow Ohio Goes to the Movies. Molly Kruzman is really, just Google Ohio Goes to the Movies. You'll see.
You'll see. She's great.
Yes.
She was one of our associate producers as well. She was awesome.
You had something back there, Bill.
Oh, hi, Brian.
Hey, Bill.
The music, the soundtrack. I did any connection to Columbus with the music, the songs?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a longer story, but the songs that you hear, like the instrumental songs that you hear, came from RJD2. So if anybody knows RJD2, freaking amazing artist, is here in Columbus. It was this happenstance thing where one of our producers was actually staying in an Airbnb that RJD2 owns. He was right across the street from him. He said, like, what are you doing here, being in this Airbnb for a month? And our producer was like, I'm making a movie. He's like, oh, you're making a movie? One of my assistants, who ended up being on the camera team, had brought me an RJD2 song early on, and I was like, oh, I would love to have RJD2 in this movie. It ended up happening. RJD2 was incredibly generous, and for a song, just gave us three of his tracks.
And if you don't know who RJD2 is, if you're a fan of the TV show Mad Men,
He wrote the theme.
He wrote the theme song for Mad Men. And, so he made his
incredible.
big breaks here on television.
Adam Rovell and Sean Sutta, they're out of Miami. They did the score for the movie. They also did the score for the movie Poser that was done by Loose Films. So if you're familiar with that. And then we had an amazing music supervisor out of New York who found us the other songs that filled in between as well.
Could you give a shout out to your outstanding editor?
Evan.
He's not here. Anthony, our DOP, is like giving a thumbs up.
Evan was great.
If there's anybody who's seen this movie more times than me, it's Evan. And he was also on set, and he was also doing our digital transfer. He was coming out along with our assistant editor, Will, right here. Where's Will? Jackson Sloan, right here, Jackson Sloan. Jackson was like, this dude's incredible. He would be at the production office, and we'd come back with the footage for the day, and Jackson he would do an assembly overnight. He was like sleeping on the couch in the production office, so that we could see things. So that the next day, Evan would come back in and he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, this is working. This is not. You might want to think about doing this for something else." Evan and Jackson together were just an incredible team. It was unbelievable to turn around from 1 year when we were filming to basically having our premiere at CineQuest a year later and going through all of that.
Shoot the show,
Shoot the
baby.
show in less than a
Shoot
year
the show in
was
less than a
absolutely
year.
incredible, and because of Evan Campbell and Jackson Sloan.
And guys like that, and everybody, just talk about 22 days of devotional crew from start to finish. Also, we have a couple of our actors here tonight that need to take.
There's our rabbi standing in the door.
Our rabbi,
yeah, right there.
Richie Burrito is here.
Richie Burrito
right there. Poor bastard got killed.
Our lovely stunt woman bank girl.
Yeah, stunt woman bank girl.
Out of the house, Jenna Ganaway. Jenna Ganaway's here.
Todd Covert.
Todd Covert, of course, is
Of
Lewis.
course. And we got a bunch of extra people that were here tonight in the crowd. We at the casino. John Grody's here. John Grody just wrapped up a great run at Little Theater on Broadway and sold out every night. He's a great actor. The fact that we got him just to humble himself as an extra is great. Thank you, John. And there's other people here too. Other extras are here too. There's too many to mention in name, but they are here. So thank you, all of you. All of you.
I have one last question for myself, and then if anybody else has any questions. You're talking about how you're hoping to. We've talked a lot about hoping to really build this independent film base here in Central Ohio to be able to make these productions. We were just talking about Evan. Reminded me of a conversation I had with him where this was his, if I remember correctly, this was his first feature film that he edited, which you chose to keep the post-production here in Central Ohio, which is fantastic. But even when I was talking to him, he realized that was a love. Like he edited short films and music videos, I believe, and things. But like through this process, he realized that is what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do for the rest of his life. Like if I remember our conversation correctly, and I've had, I don't even think I've talked to you guys about this. I've had a couple conversations with a few other filmmakers who have started projects from seeing the success that you guys have had with Down to the Felt. Things that it's been in the back of their head for 10 years. They're actually
doing it.
Getting started. They're doing it. They realize that you can do it here in Central Ohio. So one thing we've talked about is the what you're hoping to, what the hope was for developing Central Ohio for this independent film hub. We're what, a year and a half from the end of production about. Have you noticed any change in the local film community? We know that other productions have come into Central Ohio because of this. What's the feel? What's the vibe of everybody here?
That's a good question.
I think there's a general vibe that like it's not, and I think that we would all agree that a lot of the reason why we felt like we could step off and do Down to the Felt is because a group like Loose Films did Poser. And they set out and they said, hey, we're going to make this movie. We're going to do it our way. We're going to do it here. And it was a huge success. It's a huge success. And we looked at that and we thought, okay, all right, it can be done. Let's try to take it to another level. And then hopefully the next one we take to another level. But I think throughout that process from Poser to Down to the Felt to what's next, I feel like there's a pretty palpable vibe now in Columbus where people are like, yeah, we can step out, we can make film.
And that was the kind of the goal, right? To make Columbus no longer that film stepchild. Everybody goes to Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. We want Columbus to be in that same fold as far as productions that come from out of state and see that we've said this 1,000 times, see that we have the infrastructure, see that we have the talent, And if Down to the Felt is anything, it's an example. Like here's our work. We have the people. All these people were Columbus people. You know, from crew to the extra cast, aside from the leads, it's possible to do. And if that has inspired other filmmakers to continue to do shorts and have worked on features, if that has given them the next level up, that was also. I hate to say that was part of the mission, because it sounds so, whatever that word is. That's when you're being lofty. We're not that. But the idea was that's what we wanted to do. And if it's inspiring people to do other things like that, to get off their ass and get it done, saying like, well, they did it, though I can do this, then yay, because that was part of the whole.
I mean, the best thing that could happen is another production comes up from Columbus that's bigger than Down to the Felt. It's that tide will raise all the ships.
And give us some jobs if you are. Yeah. we're available for hire. No, that's all part of it. I'm glad that that's happening.
One more back then.
And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for like drawing attention to like local actors, local artists. Like it's such a big important thing, and a lot of people from Columbus just get kind of swept under a lot. So like, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for making it easy. In fact, in some ways making it hard, because there's so many talented people that we can't use everybody. But we'll just do more. Yeah, we'll just do more and get everybody in at some point.
Yeah, so there was so much humor and so much suspense and action, as well as thoughtful things in this. Two questions. How much was scripted, so well written, and then how much was, you talked about the improv at the end, or the suggestion from the actors. And then the second thing is, John, how was it to direct your wife?
Why don't you answer that one first, and then Ralphie and I will think about the second one.
Okay. Easy.
Easy, yeah, because she's
fabulous.
She's a phenomenal
and she was up against it, because it was that scene, that oneer, which also mad props to Anthony as our director of photography for doing that oneer, where we, it's tracking through all the different parts of the produce company.
And that was day one.
And that's what I was going to say. That was
day one.
That was basically our first full scene. There was one tiny short scene with Jennifer first, and then there was that oneer. That so much of it is on her. She's the first actress to work with our lead actor, who's coming in from out of town on the very first day, and adding to that, we have the technical challenge of like, you got to nail this. Like, you got to nail it, and every time she just delivered. So it was easy, and it was also fun to get her to curse a lot. Because
yeah. It's fun to hear her say that.
Well,
and she says it so well.
I know. Well, I mean, she doesn't curse in public. So that's probably a lot of reasons why she curses.
In respects to the humor, you're talking to three very great guys that have a sense of humor. I have a background in obviously stand-up comedy, and Ralphie with improv comedy, Second City, so forth and so on. But collectively, the humor.
We had it in there. It was all scripted.
Well, not everything was scripted. The little moment with Michael Stahl-David with the chairs.
Yeah, that was improv.
That was a little improv there, and you gotta give props and kudos to the actors.
Yeah, he just went back and grabbed the other chair.
And grabbed the other chair.
And then it was still too short.
But nothing makes me happier in a movie that you say is full of action and a little bit of suspense and a thriller, to hear people laugh when I think they were supposed to laugh, and credit to the actors as well who delivered those lines so well. I mean, that made me happy. Comedy is beats and rhythms, and sometimes those rhythms and beats can get lost or stepped on, and so thank you for noticing that and appreciating that. But collectively, yes, those pieces of humor were written in and then preyed upon that they would hit and be delivered properly and smack where they were supposed to smack.
And I'll go back to giving props to our editor, because it's all about timing, right?
Yep.
So it was a lot of Evan finding that right timing and sitting in that edit room with Evan and wait just a little bit longer for this, right? Yeah.
But if it made us laugh when we were writing it, then
Then it
we
was-
thought,
yeah,
then we thought,
made it
yeah.
in.
And I think the other part of it is we wanted the humor to be situational. We didn't want it to be just humor to be humor's sake, right?
Right.
It had to be situational, and
In the
it
moment.
comes from that whole idea of like sometimes you can only laugh, otherwise you're gonna cry, you know. So that's where some of that come from. So glad.
I just want to say the precision and timing of the murders
Oh, yeah.
was just, and like the car hitting the woman, all of that.
That woman, right?
That woman right there, stunt woman, big girl.
Stunt woman.
Let me tell you, that was
Thank
shot.
you.
That was shot at in my driveway at my house, and I had to let my neighbors know that between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning, there's going to be a lot of screaming and yelling, and sounds like somebody's being murdered, and they are, but they aren't. But yeah, that was our last day, wasn't it?
That was the very last day
That
of
was our
filming.
last day. Yeah.
Last day of filming, and again, that was trial upon trial of once we had it, we actually shot it in reverse for safety, so the cars actually was backing up from Jenna, and then Evan takes it and flips it around, and it was that fine tuning that edit, and Evan found it.
Well, it's so shocking. I mean,
Oh, good.
Yeah, the reaction from everybody as that one, we noticed a lot of things tonight, people laughing in harder in different spots and than I'd seen before, which made me very happy. But that scene right there, that is a gasp and a oh every freaking time, and as well it should be. It's.
And I should also give props to our stunt coordinator, Tim Storms, and his assistant, Jessica.
Yeah, Tim Storms is our stunt coordinator. He's also the MMA fighter that Michael West went up against. He also, he was a stunt coordinator and the fighter as well. So he was great. He was great.
Alrighty. Well, I think it is just about time for us to wrap up.
Yeah,
I want
go
to thank
home.
everybody
What are you
here
doing here?
for coming out. We really appreciate you being here, coming out to support the film, and thank our filmmakers for.
Thank you so much.
And tell your friends that it's here all week for a week, and then buy it